All right, since you brought it up.
Okay.
Now, you were married to Merle.
Yes.
Then?
I was married to Dave Kirby.
The great songwriter.
The great songwriter and guitar player. He and I were married right at 20 years.
Wow. And that's it?
That was AM. That's after Merle.
After Merle.
Then I married Dave, and bless his heart, he had throat cancer, and he passed away about 7 years ago.
Yeah.
But he was a great guitar player,
You bet.
singer too.
Now, you spent the last several years with Ferlin, right? Did you, or do I have that wrong?
Yeah, Ferlin was with me for a little over 5 years, I guess, something like that. I was trying to help him out, and I got him to come up here to Nashville. And we put him in the Missouri Country Music Hall of Fame because he's from Missouri, too.
And he broke out?
And they put him in the Hall of Fame up there. Missouri was, starting this up. And so I called Jean Shepherd. I said, how do we get a hold of Ferlin these days? And Miss Jean says, well, she said, he's like a hermit. He's down in Florida. He's retired, and he won't do anything anymore. And we wanted to put him in the Hall of Fame. So anyway, make a long story short, I said, Ferlin, I live in Missouri. I'm fixing to go there this weekend. If you can get a ride up here, I'll take you up there and bring you back. You can ride with me. I'll take care of you. So we got up there to Springfield, Missouri, where they were having the award show, and I said, well, you want me to take you back to Nashville? I said, I'm only 2.5 hours from here. We can go to my house if you want to. You meet my brothers. I got some dandy brothers, Roger, Warren, Wayne, Sonny, all these brothers of mine. I got seven brothers and 4 sisters. Wow. So anyway, Ferlin went up there, went home with me. He said, let's go to your house. So we went there, and he got having fun with my brothers and going fishing and, and playing a little music.
New lease on life.
Yeah, he really did.
Yes, and he lasted several years after that.
Because he did a couple of the Country's Family reunion shows.
Yes, he did. Everybody loved Ferlin.
He had an incredible sense of humor.
He did. He was wonderful.
Now, did he do the Simon Crumb thing with you, or did he?
Yeah, he did. Matter of fact, whenever I was trying to get him to come up here, to ride with me, if he could, one day he called me up, and it was Simon. He said, hey, Ferlin don't know that I'm calling you, but this is old Simon, he said. And I said, I told Ferlin later, I said, boy, when I tried to talk like Simon, I sound like June Carter. Oh, but anyways, Ferlin was a great guy and everything, but we'd be driving down the road. I did all the driving. I didn't let him drive. I was, one time I did let him drive, and he run over the curb. And I said,
that's
pull over, I need to
drive,
drive,
That's right.
But anyways, Ferlin was just fun all the time. We'd be driving down the road, and he'd say, well, I think maybe down here about 5 miles, you're going to turn on whatever. And then he'd do like Simon. He'd say, oh, shut up, you don't know what you're doing.
I mean, he just went in and out of that.
Yes, he did, and so he'd keep you laughing the whole time, and that's really important in life, to somebody keep you laughing all the time.
Ferlin Husky had that alter ego, Simon Crumb, and he did records with him.
Yes.
But there are people on Country's Family Reunion that say they'd spend like 8-hour trips with him, and he would never be anything but Simon. And you go, wow.
Listen, when he was on the road, he would rent 2 motel rooms. And if a radio station called and interviewed Ferlin, he'd say, well, can I speak to Simon? And he'd say, well, no, you'll have to call that other room. And he'd go to the other room and answer the phone to Simon.
I love it.
His last birthday, I called him, and I said, Ferlin, I hate to tell you this, but Simon's running around telling everybody that you're older than he is. And I mean that quick. He said, well, he'll tell you it's 15 years, but it's not but 10.
What I found amazing about Ferlin, and correct me if I'm wrong, because I could have faulty memory, but he was a great star, but he missed being a superstar when they sent him to do the Arthur Godfrey show. Was that it?
Yes.
And then everything was changing, and it's like he went to Broadway to do something.
Yes, he changed and went out.
And everything was changing again, and so it's like every step he took at a certain point, it was like, well, now they changed the whole criteria for that. And I had no idea he'd ever replaced Arthur Godfrey for a while.
He sure did.
He was in some movies.
Oh, he was, yeah.
Zsa Zsa Gabor.
Lots of movies.
He was, the stature of who he was and his level of entertainment, his level of creativity, just so eclipsed what
Yes.
what he really was.
And, you know, he was so funny, like, at my house up there, you know, I'm always trying to help him, get him some breakfast, whatever, fixed, whatever, and I'd say, Ferlin, dance one for me. And here he comes, them little bitty feet, you know. Here he's dancing, you know, turn on this fiddle tune, because my brothers play fiddle and stuff. So I'd turn on this fiddle music in the morning to make you get up and feel good, you know. So here's Ferlin in the kitchen dancing the first thing, you know. Oh my God, I'm just gonna keep him.
I loved him. I loved having him on the
great.
shows because his wit was just always top of the mind awareness.
That's right.
Delightful.
One time, I don't know if I should tell this little story, but it was so
Oh,
funny.
sure.
I got
Just
to
us.
tell this. Ron, my son, Ron Williams, that sings, he and I and Ferlin were doing a show in Branson. And Ferlin said, I'd had him to come out there, you know, on my shows, a lot of different places. We worked in
Right.
Texas, whatever. He was like the icing on the cake for us. We do the long show, and then here he come, you know. But Ferlin said, now he said, for some reason I cough every time I get out there about my first or second song. So when I cough, he said, bring me a bottle of water out there, you know. And I always watched out for him. I was afraid he'd fall or whatever, you know. So anyways, I had this bottle of water ready. And so anyway, he coughed a little bit, and I brought it out there to him, you know, and handed it to him, and he dropped it. And I picked it up, and yes, oh my gosh, he said, you know, I just don't hold my water like I used to. And he said, I bet some of you folks don't either. Oh my gosh, you know, he's 85 when he passed last year, but
No, so
a
it
few
was
months
all a
ago it
shtick
was.
to get you to bring a bottle of water out.
Yeah, so I said, that's the funniest thing I ever heard. He was always coming up with the originals like
Can
that.
I get another song out of you?
You bet.
Leona Williams, right here. on
Larry,
the
this
dime.
is an old record that, song that I had out a long time ago that did really good for me, and it's a honky-tonk song
Ooh,
called
like honky
Yes,
tonk.
Ma'am. Here
Oh,
we go.
yeah.
1, 2.
Yes, ma'am. He found me in a honky-tonk, and I'm sure I'm not the kind of girl you'd want your son to know. Yes, ma'am. I know you think that it's all wrong, and if he felt the way you do, I'd go back where I belong. Yes, I know he deserves the best, and there's better girls than me. And please don't quarrel with me, I love him, can't you see? Yes, ma'am. He met me where the lights are low, and I've seen the other side of town where good girls shouldn't go. Yes, I know he deserves the best, and there's better girls than me. And please don't quarrel with me, I love him, can't you see? Yes, ma'am. I partied with the crazy crowds, but someone just like your loving son helped to show me how. Yeah, someone just like your loving son helped to show me how.
All right.
Oh, yeah.
All right.